Lea Merenyi was born in Budapest, Germany in 1914. She moved several times in her life, the first being to Hanover, Germany at the age of 2. Lea converted to Catholicism early on in life and did not even know she was Jewish until 1932 when she was 18 years old. Before the war, she would visit her grandparents who lived in Budapest every school break. Lea did not go to high school. Instead, she went to an all-girls upper school where she was taught womanly things like sewing. Lea loved dancing. She continued to dance when she got her first job as a German teacher. Before 1838, she and her siblings changed their last name to their grandmother's maternal name, Schuller, which was a Jewish name. Before the war, she barely experienced anti-Semitism. However, she still experienced restrictions without knowing it because she was Jewish. Lea and her family had to move to the Jewish area and stayed with a family friend of their mother's with 3 other families. Since there were not enough beds in the apartment, Lea slept on the floor. For 6 months, they lived in these houses, which isolated them. From there, her mother went to a ghetto and her brother went to a camp from which he never came back. In 1944, Lea, her sister, and all the other women under 30 were taken to Switzerland in exchange for medicine. Her sister, not knowing where they were going, brought a notebook with her and drew in it. On the way, they stopped at a relocation camp that was originally a military camp in Bergen-Belsen. There was a doctor at the camp. They stayed there for about 6 months. Liberation by the British Army on April 15, 1945 happened, so that one fine day the gates of the camp were open. They went to the courtyard of the lager. Many people, such as prisoners, went in buses. A Hungarian man said that he was going to Budapest, even on foot, and anyone who wanted could go with him. Her sister, their friends, and Lea joined him. They walked to a deserted German town of clerks named Trobitz. They got a room in an apartment, and her sister got ill with typhus. The Russians were very kind. Lea and her sister got a big pot of soup every day, and Lea fed her sister, so she recovered. At some point, Lea, her sister, and 3 other girls were separated from the others without knowing why. One girl was ill with typhus and couldn't walk, so they found a small wheelbarrow and put her in it so they could push her. Lea spoke French and German fluently, so she got food from German houses because they all believed that she and her sister were German refugees. They kept wandering until they saw a train and went home. They planned to continue living their old lives as nothing ever happened. However, of course, it didn't happen like that. Their apartment was occupied, so they went to a distant aunt who had a big apartment on Adrassi Avenue. One of their relatives had some connections to the MAV Konsum, the Consumers Cooperative of the MAV employees, which was established in 1883 and boosted her into a position there. She didn't know how to do her job correctly, but she got lunch for her sister, her sick aunt, and herself every day. There was inflation on payday. Lea had to spend all of her money within an hour. Her sister ran as soon as Lea got the salary and spent every nickel they had. Working there for about 6 to 12 months, she taught German and danced. The Jews had searched service, so her sister and Lea went there, but no information was found about their families. Lea knew that her mother went to the ghetto to a family they knew. There she got sick and died. When the Communist Party gained power in Hungary, they wanted to rope Lea in. They sent her to a man to help her join the party because everyone had to at that time. She refused to join the party because he said he would only help her in exchange for sexual favors. Her sister got married to Gyuri Lorink. Worked with her at Olga Sentelpal's dance studio. Their marriage was civil because they didn't know anything about Jewish marriage. They weren't in love when they decided to get married, but they fell in love after. Gyuri somehow got a hold of an apartment in Lipovoros where he and his sister moved in. Lea went there for dinner every Sunday. Her sister and brother-in-law established the Budapest National Ballet Institute. They brought what was the Soviet ballet system of that time. Her sister was sent to Leningrad, where she learned the Soviet ballet system, which was the foundation of the Hungarian ballet system as well. Lea's sister and her husband were members of the Communist Party because only a communist could be the director of such an institute. However, neither her sister nor her brother-in-law were convicted of communism. Lea danced at the Hanved Ensemble for a year. She taught there and also worked at Tizzi Casino. In 1956, they listened to the radio, but since Lea had been apolitical all her life, she didn't understand what was going on. She knew something bad happened in Lipovoros, where her sister lived. She panicked as her sister was alone there with her baby. Her brother-in-law taught ballet in China, so she spent the 1956 turmoil there. After hearing what happened, Gyuri came back home worried. In 1956, Lea was downtown. She had some business there. A horrible crowd came, and she didn't know why, but she was terrified. She thought it was uprising. Lea retired sometime in the beginning of the 1970s.